Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be learning on what is MCP. Now, I think you might have read about MCP in a lot of videos, or maybe in books, or maybe in channels, or maybe in news or podcast and so on and so forth. So I thought, why not to give you a brief introduction about that, right? Great. So if you see, there's an LLM, right? Now each LLM would do something, right? It can do and it cannot do, right? It can write a document to you, it can generate a bit of code to you, it can generate it can write a code for you, it can also get you certain images and so on and so forth, right? It can generate basically, but it cannot really do an action. Or earlier, I think if you see ChatGPT 3 and those releases, it was not able to do kind of email you the document, run any actions, right? So MCP, then there was actually a need or a standard protocol that was required, that the LLM should have a capability to really run an action. Let's say if I want to book a ticket, sorry, I want to see from Pune to Delhi, I want to know what are the cheapest flights available. Yes, ChatGPT would give me that. But what if I want to go take an action, right? Go book the tickets, or run a code, upload that code to GitHub, give a Slack notification to people, and so on and so forth. So there are numerous actions that one could take. So how you could search the internet, maybe even that, right? Earlier ChatGPT did not have the internet search, so even that. So there came, so Claude, Tropic, all of these folks kind of had this thought of kind of developing a protocol. Protocol means standard set of rules. So they developed something called as an MCP, which is Model Context Protocol, right? It is an emerging protocol, especially in the world of AI, for doing this, which is agentic, right? Which means taking an action. Okay, so fundamentally, LLMs would do a predicting engine, right? They generate and predict, but they are not able to take a real world action. So now MCP server bridges that gap. Okay, so how does this bridges that gap? So basically, MCP tools like, let's say, Cursor, right? Tools like Windsurf utilizes this MCP server to enable agent to execute these action, right? Whether email or Outlook action or Slack and so on and so forth, right? All of these actions will be taken by MCP server, right? So MCP isn't a software, mind you. Just like your REST API, MCP is a protocol. Okay, so it's like REST API defines how AI model should interact with any tools or technologies. So Anthropic kind of designed this MCP, but anyone can create their own MCP, right? And then you can give a specific task, editing files, querying databases, or integrating with apps. It's just a protocol, right? Earlier there were no standard protocol, so now Anthropic came with a MCP protocol. Okay, so let's say MCP operates by providing both context model, which can be any LLM, Copilot, any model. Context, which means it adds real context to the data. So let's take an example. Check GitHub code and see if the errors are already there in the Slack message. Let's say, so now there are two actions, right? Somebody needs to check the error in GitHub. So somebody needs to go to GitHub, check the error. Somebody needs to go to Slack and check the error there, right? So they need to go there as well. So basically, in that context, what it does is, it gives the context, to the query, and through MCP, it will say, hey, go check the GitHub, which means it will give them some kind of JSON or some code some format, right? So that an LLM could understand that, right? It will act as a tool. Similarly, go check Slack. So it may give a command saying go need to access Slack, right? It could be any format that it could go and check, right? So the way it is set up is you have clients and you have MCP server. So if you want to take certain actions like these, you can set up your MCP server. It's quite easy, right? And most of the servers are stateful, which means it will be running all the time, and it will kind of send the message to the endpoints. So in the next video, I would be setting up an MCP server, right? So MCP server, as I said, connects LLM to the real world applications, right? As I said, so to give you an example, let's say a user queries, right? Go find a flight from Pune and then email me, right? So here it'll go to the LLMs, it'll go to the MCP server, it'll tell you how to connect to the Outlook and then email it back, right? So I mean, this is a very brief understanding. I would, the next video, give you understanding of how you really do that. Okay, so that's about it, folks. I hope you like this video. Do like and subscribe. And would you like to build an MCP server, integrate AI agent in the next app you use? That's the video that I'll come back to you with. Thank you. Bye bye.